What's up guys? Welcome back to my channel. Today I am going to kind of be talking about my anxiety. If you guys don't know, I had really bad cystic acne in 2015. No, 2013. I think it kind of started end of 2012 and then got really bad in 2013 when I started my blog and started like chronicling it and trying to figure out like what's up with my skin. So I had really bad cystic acne, and prior to that, around 7th grade, I started having anxiety and depression, and I was not really conscious of the fact that this was what was going on with me. It was just something I lived with, and I didn't really realize till later on that that's what I was dealing with. But after I got acne, my anxiety and depression both increased immensely. I hated going out without makeup. I hated going out, period, because I felt like my skin was just so gross and I didn't want people to look at me. If anyone looked at me, I automatically assumed they were looking at my acne and they were thinking, oh my gosh, she's disgusting, ew. And I dealt with that for a good while. I'm still dealing with my anxiety. I recently have seen 2 different counselors, one of which I didn't like, but the second one has helped me immensely. I have determined that I have generalized anxiety, specifically social anxiety and some panic attack disorder or whatever it's called, as well as depression and a bit of like a PTSD-esque response around nighttime, even though I don't have any trauma in my life. Relating to like my anxiety reactions to that. So I have had a few panic attacks in my life. The first one I can remember was all the way back in middle school, which at that time I didn't feel like I didn't know what was happening, but upon my parents finding out that I had anxiety and that this was a serious issue, which only happened like a few months ago, I like kept this stuff to myself. I didn't talk about it. I just dealt with it. And I finally, a few months ago, told my parents, I was like, yo, this is bad. I can't even control myself. So yeah, I mean, it's kind of a lot to talk about because it has been a part of my life for such a long time. I'm currently on Zoloft to help with my anxiety, and it has made an immense difference. I'm still only on like 25 milligrams a day, so the very lowest dose of it, and I feel like 1,000 times better. For me, my biggest thing was social anxiety, the like constant feeling of I don't know what to say, worrying about the fact that I don't know what to say, worrying about the fact that if I say anything, like how are people gonna think about me, just like really negative inner thoughts. And since being on Zoloft, even that small of a dosage, I have only had like 2 incidences where that voice has come back. And even though I would say, like, for me, at night is when my anxiety gets really bad. Other than social anxiety, I don't deal with social anxiety at night because I'm like going to bed, you know. I don't have other people to deal with, just myself and my brain, which is the dangerous part. For me, it's any sound in the night is someone coming in to kill my family or myself or rob the house, or, you know, it catastrophizes everything, any little thing. My brain doesn't let me sleep. I've dealt with insomnia in the past. So yeah, a lot of my issues kind of revolve around anxiety, and I mean, it's hereditary. It's something that my mom deals with, my sister deals with. Weirdly, only the females in my family have had this issue. My cousin also was on Zoloft. I don't know if she's still taking it, but yeah, So it has always kind of been an issue for me, but I feel like having acne, getting it around 18, really screwed that up and really made it manifest and become this huge issue. Because before then I was dealing, my issues were mostly, I still had social anxiety, but my issues were mostly depression. Before, like in middle school to high school is when my depression was really bad, and then after high school when I got my acne, my anxiety and depression were really bad, and then as of late it's been mostly my anxiety that's been really bad. I haven't had issues with depression in about 2 years, maybe almost 3, and that's when the anxiety really got terrible. Like I said, a lot of it I feel like stems from the fact that I had anxiety and that I had acne, and I felt like less of a person. I felt like I was disgusting, that no one would want to talk to me, no one would want to pay attention to what I have to say, no one would even, like, anytime anyone was looking at me, they were looking at the acne and they only saw the acne because that's all I saw. That's still all I see, and I'm really working on it because I know that I've started to open up to more people about this issue and like about the fact that I had acne. People are like, whoa, I never would have guessed it. You're like, you have great skin, and like people compliment my skin and like all this stuff. And I'm starting to realize that other people don't see it as bad as I do, but I see it because this is my issue. This is my weakness. So I obsess over it. And because I obsess over it, I assume everyone else obsesses over it because that's all I've known. That's all I've known is my disgusting skin and dealing with that. So I've definitely gotten more to a point where I can talk about it. I've talked about it to a few people other than my family. And I don't feel terrible about it. I feel more like I'm sharing my story, and I'm starting to realize that other people deal with stuff, because for me, my mind was always, no one else deals with the stuff. This is all me. And that's the huge reason why I started my blog in the first place, is because I had this acne and no one around me had this acne. And I was like, well, I don't want anyone else to feel like they're alone. I want someone else to maybe stumble across this blog and be like, whoa, someone else has as bad of acne as I did, and this is how they got out of it, and that type of stuff. So for me, talking has been a huge part of it. And like at the beginning, like to this day, I've still not told my parents about my depression. I kind of sort of hinted, but like not really. And I don't really want to talk. I'm not at that point yet where I can talk about the depression part of it. But as far as anxiety, it definitely was like, it really screwed me up having acne and this anxiety. I'm still dealing with it. I feel like it's helped me a lot to be in therapy with my counselor and talk about it to someone who's like knows what they're talking about and knows like how to help and stuff. It's been really helpful for me. And I feel like definitely being on medication has made a world of difference. My brain doesn't seem as ready to attack as it usually is, because it's usually like my brain will just, attack itself. Basically, that's kind of what it feels like. Also, my mom, my sister, and I have always dealt with migraines and headaches. Starting around the same time. My mom started earlier in like 4th grade, but for me, they started around middle school. So we kind of are like thinking this probably has to do with anxiety, with our own, our brains kind of attacking themselves so that they overload and then they go into migraine mode, or, just like keeping ourselves so tense because we're so tense in our brains, And my brother, my dad, they don't deal with headaches and migraines. Like, I don't think either of them have ever had a migraine. I don't think either of them have had to even take like Advil for a headache, so it's something that, because I was the first person to actually get help with it, I'm starting to find out that my mom has this, my sister has this, you know, and it's opened communication up, which has really, really helped me. You know, my mom checks in with me and it's like, hey, how you doing? You know, do you really feel like Zoloft's making a difference? All this type of stuff. And I really do feel like it has made a huge improvement to my personality as well as my brain. You know, I don't feel like my brain's out to get me, if that makes sense. It talking about it and thinking about it makes me feel like I'm crazy, like I'm insane, like you have voices talking to you, like that's weird. But it's not really voices, it's just my own brain telling me, you know, sabotaging me, that type of stuff. But yeah, I haven't really talked about it too much on my blog or even on my YouTube channel, but I feel like because I am in such a good place right now that I am okay talking about it. And then this is another thing that like I want to share with people, that I personally don't believe that you can go through such bad cystic acne and not have some mental repercussions of that. You may never, you know, not have this full-blown anxiety that I have or depression that I've had, but I don't think anyone can get out of having that bad of skin without some kind of mental scarring. So I guess this is kind of my video to just, I don't know, my coming out video of, hey, I have anxiety and depression and I've been dealing with it for a long time, and I know there's a lot of videos about it, about other people, and I feel like it's become the norm in a way. Like, you know, people see these anxiety, depression videos and they're like, oh yeah, of course, you just do this for attention. And I think there are some people out there that maybe have like an anxious moment or a few anxious days and they're like, oh my gosh, I have anxiety. And then I feel like that leads to people thinking it's not as big of a deal as it is, but it really is a big deal when you have lived a certain way your whole life and it's gotten to the point where you don't feel like it takes something huge for you to realize, I should not be dealing with this. I should not be living like this. You know, you kind of don't realize how deep you're in it until you're out of it, that type of thing, you know? And so I kind of just wanted to make this video for people to know, people who read my blog, people who watch my YouTube videos, that it's not something to be ashamed of, because more people deal with it than you think. And even if you think that like people are just making these videos to get attention or whatever, you know, there may be some people, but I feel like the majority of people, like, this is a huge thing to confess in a way, you know? It's like, it's admitting that you have something wrong with your brain, which has such a stigma attached to it, and people like just think you're crazy if you talk about stuff like this, but it is an issue and it is something that you should definitely get help for. You should talk to a counselor, you know, even just like get on a medication. I know, like, I am not the person, like, I do not like taking medications. I don't. Like, I was getting close to being hypothyroid, which my mom is, and my doctor was like, well, we could put you on drugs, but, you know, you have to be on them for the rest of your life. And I was like, you know what, I'm not there yet, so I'm gonna wait, because I don't want to be taking a drug for the rest of my life. And, you know, now that I've kind of just worked with it, I'm not close to being hypothyroid anymore. I'm, like, fine right now. But, so I don't want to push medication, because I really think it should be your decision. It should be something that you really take the time and effort to research and talk with. So I think it's definitely important to talk with someone before you go and just get medicated for these things, because you know, it's a drug. Even if it is like taken care of by a doctor and it is like researched and all this, it's still a drug, and it's still altering the chemistry in your brain. So, you know, it's not something to take lightly, but it has really made a huge difference for me, as well as talking with someone who is a specialist and who knows what they're dealing with, you know, and it makes a huge difference for me. I still have issues with obsessing over my skin and not thinking that I'm good enough because of my scarring and my hyperpigmentation and all that stuff. So it's still something I'm struggling with, but it has gotten better. You know, I don't cry all night long and then not sleep because of this. You know, my sleep has gotten better. I don't obsess as much. I mean, it's gonna take a lot for me to not obsess over it, but you know, it's something that I'm dealing with right now, and I wanted to share it with you guys because I feel like if you are on my blog, or you know, even my videos have a lot to do with acne, but you probably are dealing with yourself, and I don't want you to feel alone because I dealt with that and it is no fun. And if I can just help one person, you know, not feel so alone, then that's great. Because you know, I get messages from people being like, hey, wow, your blog's like really helped me or something, and that means the world to me. You know, I'll be having a bad day, a bad like mental day, and even if like everything has gone right in my life that day, it's just your brain just won't let you be happy. And you know, when I read those messages, they really like lift me up, and they, you know, make me realize like, okay, I'm doing this for this person, you know, that type of thing. So I guess that's kind of just what I wanted to hop on here and say. If you guys have any questions, you can always message me on my blog, or email me. All my links are down below. You can, I don't know, leave questions in the comments down below or something, or whatever. I'm here to help. That's kind of the whole reason I'm here, is so that you don't feel alone. And I guess that's all I really wanted to say for this video. I don't know, it was really like unplanned and just kind of like, I'm just gonna sit here and talk type of thing. So hopefully you guys enjoyed it, and I don't know if you made it all the way to the end, but if you did, hey, you're awesome. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!